Hi, we will continue with the project management lecture, but this time we're going to talk about estimating activity time. Last time we saw how to get the activities from the WBS. Today we want to determine the duration of each activity or the time that each activity would need to be completed. Now, sometimes when we do the activity, even if we repeat it several times, you will see that the duration that it will take is the same. But sometimes when we do a certain activity, we would see that the completion time may vary. Now, we have some reasons for these variations. For example, the level of skill of the people doing the activity is not the same. So each time we do this activity, you will see that we have different completion time according to the skill of the operator. Sometimes the machine would have some variations, or sometimes the availability of the material would affect the completion time of the activity. Sometimes unexpected events would occur, such as the sickness of the operator, or strikes, or accidents. So these reasons may give us completion times that vary for a single activity. Now we know that these events might occur, but we do not know at which activity should it occur. So we have a statistical relationship that accounts for these variations, but in order to do it, we should obtain 3 estimates of each activity's completion time. We should get the optimistic completion time, we refer to it as O, pessimistic completion time, P, most likely completion time, M. Now, with respect to the pessimistic completion time, we expect that everything should go wrong, okay, but the activity is still completed. So this is when I'm very pessimistic and I expect that anything that can go wrong shall go wrong, okay. Now, with respect to the optimistic completion time, I'm very optimistic and I will think that everything shall go perfectly. So this is the optimistic completion time. Now we still have the most likely completion time, okay, which is the time required under the normal situation, okay. So it has the most frequent time occurring from previous experience with similar activities. So if I have an experience with the completion of certain activity, I can say that if everything goes perfectly, I'm gonna get this duration. If everything goes wrong, then it can take this duration. If it goes on normally and no problems occur, it can be completed with this duration. Now we have 3 duration for the completion time of the activity, but I cannot make my schedule and I have 3 durations for the activity. So that's why this method can give us an estimate, okay, about the completion time of the activity, but taking into consideration the optimistic view and the pessimistic and the most likely situation. So I will put the values that I got in this formula. I will say that the average activity completion time, E, is the optimistic time plus 4 times the most likely time, so I'm giving more weight to the most likely time, plus the pessimistic time or the pessimistic duration over 6. So using this formula, I can take into consideration all the situations that might happen. Let's see an example here. You see, this is the same example that we have used in the previous lecture. These are the activities that I created from the WBS. Let's suppose that activity A, which is getting the board of director approval, has those 3 durations. If I was optimistic and everything goes as supposed to, then getting the approval would take 1 week. However, if everything went wrong and this is the pessimistic situation, then the duration to complete this activity would take 3 weeks. On the most likely situation, this activity will take 2 weeks. Now I need to know how to apply the equation in order to get one single completion time for this activity. So I'm gonna use this equation. For completing activity A, E is optimistic time is 1. This is the optimistic time here. Plus 4 times the most likely. The most likely is 2 weeks. So 2 times 4. Plus the pessimistic is 3 weeks. So I'm gonna say 1 plus 8 plus 3. This gives me 12 over 6. So equals to 2. So the most likely that the completion time, okay, of activity A is gonna be 2 weeks. Okay, this is taking into consideration all the situation. So I'm getting the completion time under uncertainty. I'm not sure what will be the completion time, but I've used this method to get an estimate of the completion time of activity A. Now let's see activity B. The optimistic is 2 weeks, most likely is 5, pessimistic is 8. Okay, so how do we get the completion time? 2 optimistic plus 4 times the most likely, which is 5, plus pessimistic of 8. It gives me 30 over 6. So the completion time would be 5. You see, this is the value. For C as well, this is the optimistic plus 4 times the most likely, which is 5 here, and the pessimistic of 6. So you see again, it's 5. So I will go to the table of activities that I have with the 3 values that I get, and I will create a new column getting the completion time of all the activities that I got from the WBS. So the output will be like this. Okay, now under uncertainty, I was not sure about the duration or the completion time of the activities. Now I have a completion time of all the activities, taking into consideration those 3 situations, the optimistic, the pessimistic, and the most likely situation. And this is the method that we use in order to estimate the completion time of all the activities that I have in my project. Now we will continue with the next step, which is sequencing the activities. I need to know which activities should come first, which activities can go together at the same time, which comes next, and so on. Thank you.